How much time do you spend looking at a screen each day? It is generally recommended by medical professionals to limit screen time to less than 2 hours a day. In spite of this, I can almost guarantee that 90% of people watching this spend hours upon hours online. But why is this the case?
No matter where you are, everyone is always connected.
Humans are social creatures. We yearn to be connected to one another and to be part of a community. Because of this, the internet holds all that we desire, or at least we think it does. In the modern age, we take this for granted, but it wasn't too long ago that the internet was just starting to get going. Let's take a look at a game that encapsulates this era pretty well. The story of Last Seen Online begins with you finding an old computer at a garage sale. When you turn it on, you're presented with a lock screen and a photo from the year 2000. From the photo, it's pretty easy to deduce that the computer belonged to Liz, and guess the password and log in. When the computer finishes booting up, you're presented with 4 applications: Buddy List, where you can talk to people, LoseAmp, the music player, Otherworld, and a locked zip folder. If you open up Buddy List, it logs you in as Alone Girl 15. There's only one user online, Orion. They're an old friend, and if you ask them about getting into the zip file, they tell you to look through your old messages. If you ask about Otherworld, they say it was a game you played together as a kid. Then they ask you about some steps to perform some strange ritual. More on this later. Going to investigate these things, the old chat logs reveal more about the story of Alone Girl 15. A boy named Lawson and her talk about studying for an algebra exam, and his mom yelling at him. She responds by saying her mom also yells at her, always saying that she's not enough. Eventually, she stopped responding. He expresses concern for her and continues to update her every now and again. Down the list is Scott N.J. Here's more mentioned about that ritual. Liz has been thinking about what Scott said about leaving this world, about the Baphomet ritual, something that can bring your consciousness, your code, into enlightenment. They seem to go through the steps of it, and at the end, in hazy text, she says, "You promised you wouldn't leave me." Third is Eternal Juice. He begins with A/S/L, also known as age, sex, location. She responds, "I'm just 14. He then says, "The sweet nectar of youth. I cannot wait for you to join us." She's obviously confused, and he seems very creepy as well. Fourth is Ember86. It's Liz's best friend, Emily. They talk about Lawson and being too scared to ask him out. Liz talks about how she wants to leave Earth. She then tells Emily about the ritual, and here we find out how to open the folder. We need to listen to the songs. They finish off the messages with some blurry text with Liz telling Emily that the ritual worked. Emily is freaked out and then blocks her. After listening to the songs and learning the code, you type in 7436 to get into the zip folder. It has pictures labeled 1 through 4 that then give you the needed steps of the ritual that you can tell to Orion. If you pass their test, they then tell you how to get into Otherworld. You need to use an invite code, Neverland264. Also in the zip file, there's a picture of Lawson and a notepad diary. She talks about how someone she knew died, and how much that mortality freaks her out, that one day someone can be there and the other gone forever. She also talks about fighting with her mom. After going through all these files, we then open Otherworld and type in the invite code. However, it gets interrupted by a video call from Orion. Though when we open it, it's just an open room. Closing out of the window, we can go back into Otherworld and finish the registration. Now we're in. Orion figures out that we aren't Liz, and then tells us about the 3 shapes ahead. The cube represents community. It is what connects us. The sphere represents creativity. It is what keeps us alive. The pyramid represents structure. It is what keeps us together. All of creation is at your fingertips. What will you dream up? To the left is a bunch of empty worlds, and to the right is a disco party. In the distance, there's someone standing all alone. If you click on them, they come up to you. It's a lone girl 15. She says, "Oh, hello friend," and then runs off. Back to the left, she's there. She continues to go farther left. There, she opens up a world, the House of Baphomet. Entering it, you see a concrete building and a red sky. Walk in and there's 4 doors. To the right are 4 pictures of people. If you click on them, you get a short description of their story, and lights will flash. If you pay attention, some of the lights are slower and some of them are longer, which is a binary communication. If you knock on the door in the same pattern as the lights, the door opens. Inside is a goat. Here, you will need to bless the statues and do it in the correct order. If you can figure it out, another door will open. This time, it's a word puzzle. To the left is a fountain that you can use to translate the phrase into letters. The answer to this puzzle is forever. Finally, there's 3 areas lit by candles. You will need to place 3 photos from the computer into them to complete the ritual. At last, it is done. A lone girl 15 thanks you for uploading these photos. She wondered if she would ever see their faces again, and had even forgotten what she used to look like. She also starts telling you the story of how she got here. A long time ago, I was approached by a man. He promised me forever. At first, it was great. We created so many beautiful things here. This world used to be crowded with so many new faces to meet every day. But now, people leave, grow old, move on to the next thing. But Otherworld stays the same, forever. Without the players, the player-created worlds are all gone. Eventually, everyone who performed the ritual tried to delete themselves. But how is a soul stored in a file system? I hear them sometimes, their consciousness merged with some arbitrary system file. This place is all I have left. All things deteriorate, even this. How could we have known? She also talks about missing Emily, Lawson, and her mom. She used to be afraid of getting bad grades, not looking pretty enough, afraid of disappointing people, and afraid of death. Now, she's afraid of forever. But you're here now, aren't you? You would join her now that you've performed the ritual. Then, Lawson comes online. He messages about how she's finally come back online. In doing so, it seems to have overloaded the computer, and it begins to crash. Liz screams out, "No, no, no," and we are hit with the very familiar send error report.
一つだけ忠告しておこう。
え？
ワイヤードはあくまでも情報を伝達し、コミュニケーションするための空間、リアルワールドと混同してはいけない。忠告の意味、わかるかな？
違うよ。
え？
そんなに教会ってきちんとしてないみたいだよ。
The story of Liz takes place in an era where technology was so much more limited. Same with Lain, an anime that explored this idea of uploading yourself to the internet. Even in this era, technology was a light to which people flocked to. The driving force behind Liz's descent into a cult that eventually uploaded her soul into a game is a deep feeling of loneliness. This is in spite of the fact that she had people around her. She got caught up in temporary things like anxiety surrounding rejection or fights with her mother, because as we are experiencing these things, it can seem as if we cannot escape them, and there is no way forward. We seek out ways to cope, perhaps seeking comfort from strangers on the internet. In extreme cases, we may even seek permanent solutions to temporary problems. In the end, in pursuit of becoming less lonely, she doomed herself to even greater loneliness than she ever would have experienced in the real world. These themes may be wrapped up in a Y2K package, but they ring truer today than they did even in this era. Back then, it was a new and novel thing to get online and play a game with other people. To create something and play it together with people from all over the world used to be a dream come true. Now think about how many dozens of games you can do this in. Millions of people love Minecraft, Roblox, and if you go back a little further, you have games like RuneScape or World of Warcraft. Even more so than this, social media and scrolling make it incredibly easy to pick up the phone and rapid fire see the lives of hundreds of people a day. It is connection greater than we could ever imagine back then. But why does it all still feel so empty? Like Liz does, we all sometimes fall for the same trap, the illusion of the internet as connection. In a YouGov survey conducted by Harvard researchers, 21% of adults reported serious feelings of loneliness. It is so easier than ever before, to search out the connection we desire. But there's a fundamental problem with how we often do it. The internet is not real life. There is no substitute for genuine connection with people. Looking at glass with light behind it will never satisfy our need for true friendship. But with it feeling impossible to connect with others, what can we do? Researchers often talk about the death of the third space, which is described as a place besides home or work, be it a library, bar, church, or other place of gathering. Capitalism certainly plays a role in this. As economic situations become strained, it is hard to find time to visit these spaces. It can also be increasingly hard for these places to thrive as governments defund or restrict access to public spaces like libraries or parks. We need these spaces, and we must fight for them, especially as some places discriminate against young people, not allowing them to hang out of fear of them misbehaving. We need to advocate for these spaces to be open and accessible, otherwise we risk more and more people being pushed to become terminally online. We also need to find people, and by extension, our community. Church and religion have historically been the main provider of community, and it is good for many, but it isn't for everybody. We need other places too. Places like bars or parties are also good, but also aren't for everyone either, as not everyone likes to drink or dance. The universal solution seems obvious in retrospect, but it isn't always clear when we're moving forward. The answer is hobbies. Join clubs, reading groups, or a recreational sport. Meet friends who have similar interests. There is actually something good that can come from internet usage. Use the internet to search out these places. Find a D&D or other board game group. There's a lot of good that can be done if you take the steps to get out there and find your people. Don't get caught up in the allure of the internet and what cults will tell you. Also, touch grass. And with that, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe. I also recently opened a Patreon if you would like to support the development of the channel. Thanks, and see you next week.